Hello. This is Tom from Tom and Ruth Philippine Adventures. Should you run away to another country? Why are people leaving and going to other countries? Well, you know what? Everybody has their own. They can do their own thing. They may want to go to Cambodia, Panama, Venezuela, go to the Philippines, Asia, Thailand. But son, at least gives you an opportunity. You can do it. You can't do anything you want to do. And why are people leaving? Well, it's not as many people as you think it is leaving. And in fact, the latest statistics, I see a lot of new vloggers on YouTube, and there's quite a few new vloggers. But if you'll notice, the ones that are there, they're leaving. Some are leaving. In fact, one guy had been there 1 year. I just watched a video this morning. He's leaving and coming back to the States. Another gentleman is leaving because income level is not where it needs to be, and its price is a little bit more expensive. You can live pretty well inexpensively in the Philippines if you live like a Filipino. But if you're and you want to live Western lifestyle, you're actually it's going to cost you quite a bit more. Can you live inexpensively? Of course you can. Can you live on $500? Yes, you can. To live like Filipino, you can live on $500 a month. You won't have a lot of things, but a lot of times what happens is, the problem is healthcare. Healthcare is something that you really have to take a look at. Dentist is fine, eye care is fine, but healthcare. For an example, a lot of hospitals have the equipment to actually do an x-ray or scan. You have to go somewhere else. A lot of times they don't have the equipment, and they share equipment between hospitals. For an example, an x-ray machine for a heart, they may not have it at this one, and you have to schedule it. And sometimes they come once a week, and sometimes they come every 2 weeks, and it's transported by van, picked up. The machine is actually picked up and taken to the next hospital to care for those people, because that equipment is very expensive. And back in the day when I arrived there in 2011, it was inexpensive to go to the doctor. I had Philly Health. I was grandfathered in on the old policy. It cost me really like $40 a year. And I could go get x-rays and anything else done. It was really inexpensive. But as time went on, as you know, Philippine Health went bankrupt, and it caused a lot of issues. And it's not as good as it once was at one time. Now, the doctors, for an example, left during COVID. Right after COVID, they all left, and not all, but most left. Most doctors that wanted better income left. That they could leave, they left, and ended up in Japan, USA. There's quite a few doctors. In fact, there was 2 doctors here that the nurse was telling me that just came to the Philippines, been there about a year. And you'll find that the hospitals themselves will have some nurses, but won't have a staff. You would have a 300-bed hospital that doesn't even have 10 people working in the whole hospital. And in my area, there's about 15 hospitals. And 15 miles, there's another 5 or 6 hospitals. If you go north 15 to 20 miles, there's another 10 hospitals. And the thing of it is if you add all those hospitals up and add all the people working those hospitals, you will find that it's probably less than 100 people working at all those hospitals. And it's a sad thing to say. Now, this has happened quite a bit throughout, and a lot of people are finding that out. I keep telling everyone, make sure you do your due diligence before you go there so you don't find yourself. And a lot of them find themselves down to $5,000 or down to $2,000 in their bank account, and know that they're not going to survive there for the next 30, 40 years. So you really have to do planning. Now, the smartest thing would be to be like a snowbird. Come in the area, live there for a small period of time, come back here. If you need to work, you work here. Then go back there. And it works out fine. Recently, I talked to a couple, and they're not going back there at all again, because they felt that the safety of themselves and safety in the area that they lived in there all their lives, this for the last 40 years, in here, out of here, back over there, in here for 10 months, back over there for 2 months, and they found themselves not feeling safe and secure in that area. Philippines has changed a lot since 2011. When I first got there, it was probably about 20, 25 of us in this particular area that I lived in, Maramag. Now that you might count maybe a half a dozen people that I know of live there. Of course, I'm not there, maybe more than that, but I talked to people that live there. and Americans that live there, and there's very few around as it used to be. Why? Life. Are people leaving the United States going to other countries? Not as much as you think. Are people coming here? Yes, there's more and more coming here, as you know. Just in my area here, it had on the news that 800 people a day are moving into this area in Daytona Beach, Florida. Can you believe that? 1,500 people a day are moving into Orlando. How many people are leaving the state of Florida? I couldn't exactly get those that information, but at one time it was 100, 150 people a day leaving, but so many coming in. And why they're coming here, I have no idea. It's a lot cheaper. Taxes are different, and some are coming here because how can I say, it's just cheaper. It's just cheaper all the way around. And I think personally that you're going to find more and more people moving in here, and there'll be quite a few moving back out also because of their reasons, whatever reasons they are. I took 2 people to the airport, they're moving out, and one was healthcare. They're moving back to their state, back in New York, where the doctors are better for them. So, and I think too, you have to look at every given situation. But I want to do this video because I had a couple questions about that. So, how is it living in the Philippines? All the mess and things like that. God bless everybody, and I'll see you next time on Tom and Ruth.